Hey there YouTube, how's it going? Nerdy Narwhal here, and I'm back again today with another 6-scale action figure review. And today I'm going to be taking a look at the Kaustic Plastik 6-scale Bud Spencer action figure. Now, this figure is based on the actor Bud Spencer, how he portrayed Bambino in the Trinity trilogy. Sorry, it's kind of hard to say. Trinity trilogy. In the Trinity trilogy of Western films, which is a series of Western comedies. So I actually had no idea who this was when I picked up the figure. I just thought that is a really cool looking Western action figure. It looks super high quality. I've been a huge fan of Kaustic Plastik really since I got into the hobby. The quality of materials that they use for their figures are generally second to none. And so I've been on the hunt for this figure for some time now. So I went out, kept my nose to the ground, and casually looked to pick one of these up. Eventually I found one for a pretty darn good deal, less than SRP, and I hopped on it as soon as I could. So now I wanted to talk about it. Anyways, let's get started with some of the boring stuff first. We have multiple interchangeable hands, including the one that is on the figure itself. We have some fists. There's another fist. We have these open hands, and you'll see that I have one on the figure already because it's just an iconic look for this guy to have one hand resting on his hip. If you look up stills from the movie or you go and watch the Trinity trilogy, you will see that he's often posing with one hand on his gun and one hand on his hip, or both hands on his hips. That's just how he does. You also get these relaxed hands, like so, as well as a couple of trigger fingers, one of which is already on the figure. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to splay these hands all out and then go in for a close-up so that you can see the incredible amount of detail on these hands. Just look at those. That really does look great, from the discoloration on the knuckles and the pocking on the skin, or freckling, I guess. The nails. My gosh, look at that. And this is a, well, I want to say mass-produced. Really, it was. There's 1,000 of the regular edition, and then I think 200 or 300 of the special edition. So a limited run, but still quite a bit. And to achieve this level of quality in a run of that size, and keeping the price down to pretty much market standard, right at about $300, is incredible. Anyways, let's go in here for a closer look at the figure proper and his accessories. So first, starting off, we have the display base. It looks good. That's not real wood. That's just a sticker put on over a base right there. Then you have this nice hard cardboard wanted poster of Bambino. I'm not sure if that's meant to be $100,000. It seems like an absurd amount of money for the Old West, so I'm assuming it's $100, but I'm not entirely sure. There's that. Moving up the figure, you get this awesome little 6-shooter here. Let's get that out and have a look at it. It does cock back, as you would hope. It does come forward if you wanted to pose him reloading it, and the magazine comes off. Now, I want to talk about the quality of metal used. Yes, these are all die-cast metal, his firearms, and they are of the highest quality. There's such a heft and a weight to them, where even when you get die-cast metal accessories and some other 6-scale figures, sometimes they can feel light, or I don't know, flippant. That's not the word, but just not hefty or of good quality. Whereas this actually feels like if I had, a handful of them, that would equate almost to the weight of an actual 6-shooter. Good quality stuff there from Kaustic Plastik. And then finally we have the shotgun. And just as you would expect from the quality of the 6-shooter there, the shotgun is made in the same hefty metal as the rest of the accessories. It cocks down. There are no bullets in there. You can pull it back up. Both of these move, and I'm pretty sure that maybe it doesn't, but you can individually pull back the actions on it, which is pretty darn cool. So now I'm going to lay out his firearms. We'll go in for a close-up on the camera, get a good look at some of the details in those accessories. Because my gosh, can you just look at them? They look great. Very nicely done. Okay. The belts, I don't know if you consider this accessories anymore. I think we're moving on to the outfit. He does have some extra bullets for a 6-shooter in his belt. 2 different types of leather, and this feels like good, high quality stuff. Not something that's going to start flaking any time soon. Going up there, you can see the incredible weathering all throughout the outfit. In the movie, he's a real dirty guy when you meet him, just real filthy looking. He lives in a desert. It's hot, sweaty, dusty, dirty. The dust probably sinks into the sweat and just clings there on his outfit, and that's been captured very well in 6-scale. Get a nice close-up of that sheriff's badge there. If it'll focus. There we go. Just look at that. That looks great. And up to that head sculpt. Bud Spencer's a big, meaty guy. And he's got that big, meaty guy squint all throughout the movie. And that's been just that expression is just so well captured in this head sculpt. Alright, let's pull back. The weathering is pretty good all throughout the outfit, coming up from the boots all the way up through the pants. The actor himself, the face looks fairly clean, which is, fine. This is meant to be Bud Spencer, not Bambino, and this movie came out, I think, in the early 70s? I think 1970. In fact, so I'm not so sure if he would have looked too greasy himself, but the weathering throughout the clothing is great. Absolutely wonderful. Now, let's hop in to articulation. So I'm going to start from the top and go down. He feels like he's on a Kaustic Plastik. I don't know if you ever got it. They made a KP02, Kaustic Plastik 02 double XL, I think, which was their Fantasy Warrior body. Figure that they originally came out with for an unlicensed Conan the Barbarian figure. Pretty cool piece. The leather didn't hold up on it, so it's probably in tatters for most of the people who bought it now. But this is their first one before they made the Masterclass, which I think I also reviewed on this channel. Anyways, he feels like he's on that body, but because he's very muscular, very big biceps underneath there. But he also has some padding for that gut, so that is a nice squishy gut on him. Articulation on that body isn't absurd, but it does get the job done. So let's hop in here and get a look at this figure's articulation. Alright, the head is on your standard ball joint, so all of the look down, look up. He's a pretty big guy, so he'd probably be looking down most of the time. And tilt, everything you could want there. The neck is pretty soft, which allows for some more motion at the top there. There is a joint at the diaphragm, but not one that works too well. And while I am showing you articulation, you will notice that if you get a little too eager with that torso, you will untuck that outfit a little tiny bit, which is fine. It's not too hard to tuck back in, but a lot of articulation at the waist there. Start pulling that shirt out. It looks so good when it's all put together. It's kind of a pain in the butt to tuck everything back in, but again, not too hard. So I generally just avoid doing too much rock back because I want to keep that shirt tucked in, and I don't like having to go in and adjust it all too often. The arms will come out to about there before you're tugging on the shirt too much. Out to here. There we go. Get a look at that. And then you have a single jointed elbow, which will give you pretty close to 90 degrees of motion at the arms. Now, there is also a swivel. It is a hinge and swivel, so you can get that with Bud, and that's mostly how you're going to be getting those arms across his body. Because of the large chest of this body, it was meant to be a Schwarzenegger body after all. You're not getting too much out of that butterfly joint in the shoulders, which is okay. Bud Spencer doesn't strike me as being all too flexible of a guy. Now, comfortably, let's angle that camera down a bit again. The legs will go up on their own, really not that far. And that's because the fat belly suit sort of hinders them going up too much higher. You do get a nice, yep, that's a double joint cut right there in the knees. And then the boots, being a good soft fabric, will allow you to get some ankle rock. Back, forward. That's all well and good. Do those spurs? Yep, those spurs also spin. So that's pretty cool. And that about does it for articulation. Like I said, Bud Spencer's a big guy. He's not doing a lot of acrobatics. The amount of articulation that we have with this figure is absolutely just fine for me. Let me show you how I tuck that shirt in real quick here. So I go from where it's already tucked in. I like to just use the shotgun, slide that through there. Let's try the 6-shooter. There we go. Just wedge that shirt back into the pants. Put Bud Spencer back together again. As far as, while I'm doing this, let's talk about the figure. It is a very limited run. Like I said, there's 1,200 or 1,300 of these. The special edition, which comes with everything you just saw, as well as a large replica of the sheriff's badge, and I think some cooking utensils, like a pot and another little item, is still available on the Kaustic Plastik website for about €300, somewhere around there. And I'm not sure if they charge shipping or not. That said, it looks like the regular edition has been sold out. As far as how well this figure will fare on the aftermarket, I really can't say. Because while it is a limited piece, and it is of incredibly high quality, I don't know if there's really a huge market of people looking to get it just based on the character. I know that there's a large fan base for Bud Spencer, back in Italy, more so than the US, I believe. But, it's not like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or even Red Dead Redemption, more modern Western themed stuff like that. I'm not sure if once this guy sells out, if people are going to be willing to spend big money on this guy, or if he will sit around, $200 to $300. Basically, it's SRP of about $270, $280 for a while after it sells out. What I can confidently say is whether or not you do enjoy Bud Spencer in his movies, or you do enjoy the Trinity series, or you just think this figure looks cool, I can strongly recommend that you add it to your collection just based on that, because it's an awesome looking figure. And if you're like me, you'll pick it up because it's a really cool looking figure, and that will inspire you to go back and check out some of the movies that this figure is based on. I watched mostly clips from the first Trinity movie, and I really enjoyed it. I thought that was a great Western comedy. Not comedy to the point of Blazing Saddles, but a great Western comedy, more so slapstick type stuff, I guess. It meshed the genres up really well. And as a Western, I really enjoyed it too. I'm a big fan of the Western genre. I remember sitting back after a hard day of work with Grandpa out on the farm. He gets into his chair and he'd pop on the television set, and it's just Westerns from there on through the rest of the night. So, it was kind of you better learn how to enjoy that genre when I was a kid. And I did. And I still do. So, yeah. This, my friends, has been a look at the Kaustic Plastik Bud Spencer 6-scale action figure. Once again, based on Bud Spencer's character of Bambino from the Trinity trilogy. I hope you all enjoyed this review. If there's anything that I missed, or if you have any questions, please feel free to get at me in the comments, because I absolutely love getting a dialogue going with my fellow collectors. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy, and keep on collecting. Nerdy Narwhal out.